Hello, my fellow truth seekers, and welcome back to Myths, Mysteries, and All Things Weird. I'm Ilan, your guide through the tangled web of the unexplained, the unsolved, and the downright spooky. Today, we're diving headfirst into a manuscript so mysterious, it's baffled some of the world's greatest minds for over 6 centuries, the Voynich Manuscript. Is it an ancient encyclopedia of lost knowledge, a hoax pulled off by a medieval prankster? Or could it hold the secrets of a forgotten language, an alien race, or even a parallel universe? Grab your favorite beverage, dim the lights, and let's unlock this enigma together. The Voynich Manuscript is a book unlike any other. Housed today in Yale University's Bainecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, this 240-page codex is written in an unknown script, a language no one has ever seen before or since. Discovered in 1912 by an antiquarian bookseller named Wilfrid Voynich, the manuscript contains bizarre illustrations of unrecognizable plants, strange cosmological diagrams, and what appear to be recipes, possibly for alchemy or herbal remedies. It's written on vellum, which is parchment made from calf skin, and radiocarbon dating places its origins somewhere in the early 15th century, between 1404 and 1438. But here's the kicker. No one knows who wrote it, why they wrote it, or what it even says. The script, dubbed Voynichese, is completely undecipherable. Linguists, cryptographers, historians, and even AI programs have tried to crack the code. So far, nothing. Nada, zilch. Let's rewind the clock a bit. Before Wilfrid Voynich stumbled upon it, the manuscript had a long and murky history. The earliest confirmed owner was Georg Baresch, a 17th century alchemist from Prague. Baresch was obsessed with the book, but couldn't make heads or tails of it. Frustrated, he sent it to Athanasius Kircher, a Jesuit scholar known for his work on deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs. Kircher, too, was stumped. The manuscript eventually found its way to the library of Emperor Rudolf II of the Holy Roman Empire. Rudolf was an eccentric ruler with a penchant for the occult and reportedly paid a hefty sum for the book, some say as much as 600 gold ducats, which would be the equivalent of tens of thousands of dollars today. From there, the manuscript's trail grows cold until it resurfaces in Voynich's hands in 1912. Since then, it's been studied, analysed and theorised about endlessly, yet it remains a puzzle. So who wrote this thing? Let's explore some of the most popular theories. One prevailing theory suggests that the Voynich manuscript is an elaborate hoax crafted to deceive or entertain. Proponents of this idea argue that the manuscript's unintelligible script and peculiar illustrations were intentionally designed to baffle scholars and collectors. Historically, the 15th and 16th centuries witnessed a fascination with cryptography and secret knowledge. It's plausible that an individual or group created the manuscript to capitalize on this intrigue, perhaps to sell it at a high price to a wealthy patron or to gain notoriety among intellectual circles. The manuscript's complexity and the quality of its materials suggest that if it were a hoax, it was an exceptionally well-executed one. Critics of the hoax theory point out that maintaining such an intricate deception over centuries, especially one that has withstood modern cryptographic analysis, would require an extraordinary level of foresight and skill. Additionally, the manuscript's consistent internal structure and the apparent purposefulness of its content imply that it may have been more than just a prank. Another compelling theory posits that the manuscript is written in a lost or constructed language. Some linguists and cryptographers believe that Voynichese could represent a natural language that has since become extinct, or it might be an entirely invented language, complete with its own grammar and syntax. The idea of constructed languages is not without precedent. Historical figures like Hildegard of Bingen created their own languages, such as lingua ignota, for mystical or private purposes. If the Voynich manuscript is indeed written in a constructed language, it could have been intended for a select audience or for encoding esoteric knowledge. However, the lack of any known correlation between Voynich's and existing languages has made this theory difficult to substantiate. Despite extensive computational analyses and pattern recognition studies, no definitive parallels have been identified, leaving the true nature of the manuscript's language an open question. Among the more unconventional theories is the suggestion that the Voynich manuscript has an extraterrestrial origin. Proponents of this idea point to the manuscript's bizarre botanical illustrations, which do not correspond to any known earthly species, and the astronomical diagrams that could be interpreted as depictions of otherworldly constellations or planetary systems. This theory posits that the manuscript could be a record left by alien visitors, documenting their observations of Earth or conveying information in their own language and script. The unfamiliar plants and cosmological charts might represent flora and celestial bodies from the author's home planet, offering a tantalizing glimpse into an entirely different world. Skeptics argue that this theory lacks empirical evidence and relies heavily on speculative interpretation of the manuscript's illustrations. They suggest that the peculiar imagery could instead be the result of imaginative artistry or symbolic representation common in medieval manuscripts, rather than proof of extraterrestrial involvement. An even more extraordinary theory proposes that the Voynich manuscript originates from a parallel universe. This idea suggests that the manuscript somehow traversed the boundaries between dimensions, bringing with it knowledge from an alternate reality. Supporters of this theory might argue that the manuscript's indecipherable script and unrecognizable illustrations are evidence of a world governed by different linguistic and biological evolutions. The plants, for instance, could be species that evolved in a parallel Earth with distinct environmental conditions, resulting in flora unknown to our science. While the parallel universe theory is fascinating, it ventures into the realms of metaphysics and theoretical physics, areas that are challenging to substantiate with concrete evidence. The lack of a scientific framework for inter-universal travel or communication makes this theory highly speculative, though it undeniably adds to the manuscript's allure and the myriad possibilities of its origin. Some scholars propose that the Voynich manuscript is a medical or alchemical treatise possibly intended for use by practitioners of early medicine or alchemy. The manuscript contains sections that resemble herbal guides, astronomical charts, and what appear to be recipes, which could indicate a compendium of knowledge related to healing, astrology, and the transformation of substances. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, it was common for such knowledge to be recorded in coded languages or ciphers to protect trade secrets or to obscure practices considered heretical by the Church. The use of an unknown script could have been a deliberate attempt to safeguard the information from uninitiated readers, ensuring that only those with the requisite knowledge could interpret the contents. However, the inability to decode the manuscript means that this theory remains speculative. Without understanding the text, it's challenging to confirm whether the manuscript's purpose aligns with known medical or alchemical works from the same period. Another perspective considers the Voynich manuscript as a work of art or fiction, created for aesthetic or entertainment purposes. The elaborate illustrations and meticulous script suggest a high level of craftsmanship, possibly intended to delight or intrigue viewers rather than convey practical information. This theory aligns with the tradition of illuminated manuscripts, where the visual presentation was as important as the textual content. The fantastical elements within the manuscript could be expressions of the author's imagination, akin to a medieval science fiction narrative, exploring concepts beyond the contemporary understanding of the natural world. While this theory accounts for the manuscript's enigmatic nature, it raises questions about the considerable resources and effort invested in creating a book with no apparent utilitarian purpose. The true intent behind such an endeavor remains a subject of debate among scholars and enthusiasts alike. Over the years, countless people have tried to decode the Voynich manuscript. During World War II, some of the same code breakers who cracked the Enigma machine turned their attention to the manuscript. Even they couldn't unravel its secrets. More recently, artificial intelligence has been employed to analyze the text, looking for patterns or linguistic structures. In one notable instance, a team of researchers claimed that AI had identified possible links to Hebrew, suggesting that the manuscript might be a coded version of an ancient language. However, these findings remain unverified, and the Voynich Manuscript continues to resist decryption. The mystery of the manuscript has inspired legions of amateur codebreakers and hobbyists, each armed with their own theories and decoding methods. Online forums and communities have sprung up, dedicated to cracking the code and uncovering the manuscript's secrets. Despite their enthusiasm, no definitive breakthroughs have been made. The Voynich Manuscript remains one of history's most enigmatic artifacts, a puzzle that has withstood the scrutiny of centuries. Whether it is a hoax, a work of art, a coded language, or something even more extraordinary, its allure lies in its mystery. It challenges us to think beyond the limits of our understanding, to imagine possibilities that transcend time, space, and perhaps even reality itself. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this dive into one of history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tales of the strange, the spooky, and the unexplained. Until next time, keep seeking the truth and stay curious.